And good, happy Wednesday. It's our day. Yes, I have on with me our real estate expert. He is the pro, Cal Jackson. Good morning, Cal.
Good morning, Candy. Happy Wednesday. It is a beautiful day here in Tampa Bay. Another great day to buy and sell real estate.
No, right? Right.
Yes.
Yes. Those that have been joining us know that Cal Jackson is a certified full service professional realtor, and he is our weekly contributor every Wednesday, 8 a.m., and has been offering some amazing information, great nuggets for those that are looking to purchase a home in the next several months or even this year. And we want to get ahead of the game and make sure that you connect with a great realtor. And Cal Jackson is definitely my number one choice when it comes to looking for a home and looking for a home here in Hillsborough County and some of those outside areas of Hillsborough County, which are as beautiful. And I'm Hillsborough County Pro, so if you're looking for a home, I recommend Cal Jackson. But good morning, Cal.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. That is so nice. Thank you so much for that introduction and, of course, for your endorsement. I appreciate that so much. Real estate has been challenging in Florida this year, Candy. So I thought that it was going to be smooth sailing. I figured we were going into 2025. It was going to be the golden year for everyone. And I see that Florida is experiencing a good amount of unique challenges. Some folks who are looking to sell their homes are having a kind of a challenging time doing so. Those houses are sitting on the market and lowering in price pretty significantly. And then we got a lot of people who are on the sidelines, strangely enough, who are, although the prices are dropping, you would think that there would be a bit of a frenzy to start purchasing homes. Folks are not in a super rush. They're kind of sitting back like, maybe we should wait and see what's going on with eggs first. What's happening with the rest of the economy before we start spending any big money in real estate. And so we definitely have quite an interesting year unfolding. But I'm happy to be here in April. It's already April. Can you believe it? It seems like time has just flown by.
It has been like a speed win.
Yeah.
March, April, we're already in April. It feels like mid-February, truth be told.
Isn't it funny how time is doing that?
Oh, yes. And, I wanted to start off with Cal is what does a great realtor look like? Because you know what, there's lots of realtors out there. I know that there's people that answer their phone, don't answer their phone. There's part-time, there's full-time. So when you're looking to buy and purchase a home, what does a good realtor look like when you're out? Because I think it's really important. Number one is to have a good realtor. And what does that look like?
Great question. I think, a couple of things came to mind when you hear what they look like. They look like a friend is, to me, what a good realtor looks like. Somebody who is really someone you can trust, someone that you feel like, okay, this person has my best interest at heart. They want to see me win. They want to put me in a good position. And so I definitely think that as you consider looking for a realtor, you want to have all of the qualifications that you mentioned. I tend to like someone who answers their phone rather than someone who doesn't. However, I can tell you that what I've learned, I used to think, realtors are so arrogant. They just don't answer their phone. No, they get 100 million spam calls per day. Everyone is trying to send someone, a realtor, something. Hey, buy my leads, buy my, new website, buy this, buy that. And so a lot of folks get to a place where they just feel like they need to filter the call, right? Like, leave me a message and I'll get back to you. But there are still lots of agents out there who just answer the phone. And I think those are good people, especially once you're in a relationship. It doesn't take long for a conversation to happen, and it certainly doesn't take long for them to respond back to you via text message. In this day and age, a lot of people like to send a text. I think if you're looking for a good agent, they should certainly be responsive in whatever means is your best preferred means of communication. If you like text, they should be texting back quick. If you are a phone call person, they should be calling you within, I think within the hour. Some people say within 24 hours. I'm just, look, if you're in business, business is moving. These people don't have time to wait for you, right? Another thing I would say is that, on our previous episode, I think I mentioned that you want someone who is kind of like you. They communicate in the way that you like, right? So if you speak Spanish, you may be more comfortable speaking Spanish. Or if you are a person who feels a little more comfortable with women, right? If you're a woman and you feel more comfortable talking to them, you should get someone who's like you. There are people who not only make you feel more comfortable in terms of your language, your background, your gender, so try to find someone who is a professional too, right? Like, just because your cousin or your auntie got a license doesn't mean that they're necessarily the one that needs to be helping you with the purchase of your home. You'll wind up losing money. You wind up having setbacks because they're learning on the fly. And you're trying to just hook them up. And don't do the hookup during this kind of a purchase. This is a very large purchase. So I would definitely recommend, choose a professional, someone that is legitimately licensed, right? And these are all things that you can easily check on before you say, yes, I'll hire you as my realtor. And the reason I say you want them as a friend, again, is because you're going to be with this person quite a bit over the next 4 to 6 months, right? They're going to know what's going on with your finances. They're going to know, where do you want to live? They're going to have ideas they're going to be around your family, right? There'll be times when you and your family may need to go out and look at a property with your realtor. Mm-hmm. They're going to be around. They're going to be around your kids. So we want to have someone around that makes you feel good, makes you feel like, yeah, I trust this person and I know that they're helping me to make good decisions.
Mm-hmm. And Cal, when you think about a full-time versus a part-time realtor, is a full-time realtor Monday through Sunday?
I am. I work 7 days a week. But it's an interesting career because there are times when you are absolutely swamped busy. Like, you don't have room to do anything else. And then there are times when you have absolutely nothing to do. You're just relaxing, right? So I think that most realtors who take it seriously, and this is their profession, they're available in the evenings, they're available in the afternoons, in the mornings. They're really trying to make themselves available to the customer. Because part of being full service, as I put as you can see on the screen, I say full service professional realtor. It's not only, sometimes you don't know what the person who's buying or selling, what their work schedule is. They may have a few minutes in the morning. They have to call you early. Like, we're up early in the morning on this show. Some people are up early, and get into it. You can't have bankers 9 to 5 hours. Some people can't really talk on their phone while they're at work, right? And so they can't talk to you until after they get off at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. And I think you really do need to be accommodating for people. When you're part-time, it's much more difficult to be accommodating because you may have those same restrictions. You can't talk until nighttime, or you can't work with them until the weekend, right? And in today's day, a lot of people work on the weekend. They don't have time. So it's really easier when you're working with someone who does this full time. Not only that, but I do think that, as you think about what people are looking for, a lot of times they're not going to give you as an agent a lot of time. They're going to call your phone. If they're going to send you a text, if they feel like you haven't gotten back to them within a reasonable amount of time, they're going to move on. They're going to feel like, well, maybe he's busy or she's busy and they're not available. I need to get this done. And they move on to what's next. So it really is to your benefit to have makes yourself available. you know.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this has always been something, Cal, and then I had a couple people message me on this one here, is how do you know when you have a good deal? You know, when we ride around, and I know I did prior to purchasing my home, is I would go online and I would look at the information, I would see the price, and I was thinking, is will the realtor help with negotiating the price? When do you know you have a good deal? Does the realtor know it's a good deal? So how does all that negotiation works?
It's different for each situation. Every situation can be a little bit different when it comes to real estate. Sometimes the good deal is price related, right? Sometimes it's just simple math. Does this fit within the parameters that I've set out for myself? Is it affordable? Is it something that I can afford on a monthly basis? If I'm an investor, does it fit within my investment guidelines so that I'm spending less and have more money available coming back to me once I do the improvements on the house? Some people, it really is just the property, right? Sometimes it's a good deal to them because this is where they want their kids to go to school. This is what neighborhood they want to live in. They're not so much concerned about the money or about the investment. This is just where they want to be. And so I think you really have to listen to your customer and determine what's going to be right for them. And then based on what their desires and needs are, that's when your negotiations start coming into play, right? Because if the person is serious about negotiating based on price, we're going to look at, well, how is this house priced compared to what other homes have sold for in the area, right? We do something called a comparative market analysis, where we look at what homes are on the market for, what they've sold for, things like that. And once we do that, we're able to say, okay, this looks like it's within the realm of what's reasonable. We also then can negotiate based on what's the condition of the property, right? Is the property in pristine? They did all new repairs. It's brand new. It's worth every penny they're asking for. Or does this property need some serious work, right? Like, are they asking for a price, but they know, they're trying to catch somebody not paying attention and they're just going to grab a house, but maybe, they could have negotiated down 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 off of the purchase price. I have a friend down in Miami. He just closed yesterday, as a matter of fact. And there were a lot of repairs that needed to be done, but the customer wasn't even really concerned about the repairs. What he was concerned about was that he was getting the property at a great price. The repairs were, minimal, but he was going to have to come up with a lot of money because it sits on a golf course. And there are fees associated with maintaining the golf course, becoming a country club member, all of these extras that came up. There were a couple of two different HOAs you have to be a part of. So a lot of times you're negotiating fees and terms and what's being left behind. Sometimes people will leave a home. I always believe in leave a little bit behind for the person coming behind you, right? They may be a first-time home buyer, maybe new to the area. If you got some extra tile, leave the tile. If you got some, extra refrigerator and you're not going to do anything with it, leave it in the garage. You may help these people, right? Some people, they want to take everything. They want the plaster off the walls. They want the pipes in the wall. They want to take everything with them, And so you really do need to negotiate to protect your customer that's moving in. And one other thing I think that I should mention is you want someone. So some people, you ever see the realtor? They come with the very stern look on their face on their promotional material. I'm the very tough negotiator kind of look like this. And then there's the happy, like, hey, everybody's welcome, kind of person who is not so much about hard, firm negotiations, but they're looking for relationships. They're like, hey, I have great relationships. We're going to make this a fun and easy process for you. I think there's something to be said for both sides and something to be said for being in the middle. Because some people, remember, you're dealing with another party, another person who has ideas about how they want things to go. And sometimes you're dealing with some agents who they're not the easiest people in the world to deal with, right? So this is why we have realtors, because if you put two people in a room, in fact, before the show, you and I were having a chat about how people can have different ideologies, right? They have different ideas about some things. And normally, individually, they're wonderful people. But when they get together and talk about this particular issue, they kind of, and they're fighting and they're going at one another. That's really what the realtors are supposed to be there to help alleviate, right? I speak on your behalf. They have someone to speak on their behalf. We're a neutral third party, right? We're there to just present the details and get things done quickly, easily, efficiently.
Yes.
Not get into, some people start taking their job a little too seriously. They start believing that it's them, like, well, I'm sure they're not going to take that number. Excuse me. Your job is to present the offer to your customer, not to determine what they're going to take or what they're going to do. So sometimes you have to remind other realtors, like, neutral third party. Remember, you're here to make this smooth for your customer, not to argue as though you are the customer. So it's an interesting career. You definitely run across a lot of different people, but having someone who does know how to negotiate well is a big plus. Someone who has interpersonal skills, right? You want someone who knows how to talk to other people. You get my old saying, you get more with sugar than you do with the opposite of that. I don't want to hurt anyone's virgin ears on the show, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, you get more with honey than you do with vinegar. Let's do it like that, right? And so it's just important that you be kind to others, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, act with integrity, do the right thing every single time. And then you get a lot of customers and you'll have people wanting to do repeat business.
Absolutely. And Cal, that brings me to common mistake first-time home buyers make when they're planning to buy a home.
Quite a few of them. So there are a number of them. One is, as you know, maintaining your credit through the process, right? Do not go and buy anything big. Don't go and buy a car, or don't go pay off a credit card. If you've gotten a pre-approved with what you have, stay right there. Don't move, right? And then if you do decide that you need to make a purchase, or you do need to add money to an account or whatever you're going to do, have a conversation with your loan officer first so that they know what you're doing and they know it won't mess up any of the scores that qualified you to get this mortgage. That's number one. Another mistake that I would say that they make is they think they can do it alone. Everybody, in the age of technology, especially if you feel like, you're web savvy, I can just look online. I have an app for that. I have AI. I'll ask AI to do. There's something to be said for hiring a professional, right? I just recently heard a quote that said, sometimes you don't need to figure out how to do it. You need to figure out who can do it. Right? Because it's perfectly fine to hire a person who has expertise, like a CPA to do your accounting work, or a lawyer to do your legal work, or a realtor to do your real estate work. Hire the professional that does this all the time. But sometimes people feel like they're very empowered with their cell phones. And so they think they know everything until they get slapped, and then it's like, why didn't I hire somebody? And it costs more to cure a problem. I think prevention is better than cure, right? Like, if you can prevent a problem from happening, you come out a lot better than trying the cost of fixing it after the problem has already happened. Is what I'm trying to get out. Yes. And then, last but not least, I would say with first-time buyers, I think you wait too long and too late, What I mean by that is I don't think they have a good understanding of how long this process can take. And sometimes they
Mhm.
aren't preparing well enough in advance, right? So,
Mhm.
number one, if you're planning to do a purchase in 2025, you should have all, here we are, we're 4 months into this thing. It's April. You should have already been putting money aside. Every paycheck or however you get your money, you should have been socking away some money because you know that you're about to purchase a house and you're going to have some costs with moving. You're going to have some costs associated with down payment and closing costs, right? So you shouldn't be socking away money. Two, you should be addressing your credit score, right? So that you can get the best possible interest rate. You know that this is something you want to do. It's not going to get done in 2 weeks. It's not going to get done in a week. These things take time, right? Um, Three, if you're planning to move out of like a lot of people are in apartment situations, I had to break the news to two different prospective renters just over the last 30 days. Um, the prices things have gone up, significantly gone up. Like it's way different than when you started renting in your apartment. You've been in that place 3, 4, 5 years. You live there and you think that, oh, I still want to find something, a 2 bedroom, 2 bath house for $1,000. You're going to have your feelings very, very hurt. That landlord was doing you a favor. They were keeping you in place because it was prudent for them and whatever their needs were as you were paying your bill. But I can assure you that most rents are going to be above $2,000 per month. And if you're going to continue to try to rent, I told them that you typically need a minimum of 3 months rent up front if you're going to be working with a realtor. So you have your down payment. You have your first month's rent, a security deposit, and then most realtors are going to charge you 1 month's rent for their services. And so it's very important that you have some money socked away, even if you're renting. But if you have $6,000 towards, a move for a rental, you really need to be thinking about making a purchase. But I think a lot of folks don't start the process of investigating what their options are, how much money they'll need, what their credit score is, where they are, and what they need to do to get to where they need to be in enough time. They'll wait until, hey Kyle, the landlord tells me I have to move out next month. Next month, as in, you mean today is March the 25th and you have to move out by April 1st? And they're like, yeah. Like, why did you wait 5 days? This is not how this works. And so, even if you wait 30 days, it's still just not enough time. Give yourself, first time buyer, give yourself time. It's already April. I will tell you, if you are serious about buying in 2025, unless you've been doing all that I've just mentioned ahead of time, you're not moving until the end of the summer at the earliest at this point, right? Because it's going to take you time to find a place that's suitable. It takes time for the purchasing process to go through, right? So if you want to be moved in by the summer, like you really need to take action immediately. Not like when we get closer to May or around June. If you're applying or starting this process in June, you're not moving until closer to the end of the year. Okay, so
Wow.
I would say give yourself 3 months at least.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? That's a good point, Kyle, because people that do not know, they will think that they can do this in the next 30 days, 60 days, and not
Yeah,
knowing that all of those different things, you need to have them in order or working on them so that you can get the
absolutely.
process rolling prior to. So that's some great information. Also, I know we talked about this, but there's a lot of issues with weather across the country. And in spite
Hmm.
of that, we still have people coming to the Tampa Bay area. I did hear we have 100 and some people come every single day to Tampa. And
Hmm.
how is that playing out because I do hear people say we don't need any more people in Tampa. Send them back.
That's so funny you say that.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We're crowded. We don't need any more people, but people are still coming to Florida, and they are still looking for a home in Tampa, in Hillsborough County.
So there's two things I can say to that. First, good people in Tampa, watch what you ask for. You just might get it, right? When you say, we don't got no more room, go back, leave here, this sort of thing. Florida has had, I just posted this in my Facebook group. I have a Facebook group for real estate and investing. Mm-hmm. And there was a report that Florida has had the most people exit Florida, leaving, and the fewest number of people replacing them in like the last 20 years, over the last 2 years, right? Over the last 2 years, we've had a lot of people leaving the state of Florida, citing all sorts of things, right? All of their concerns from insurance. Some of them are not happy politically. Some of them are not happy with whatever is going on in the world. They're leaving. And normally, I mean, for decades now, Florida has been a premier destination. People want to be in Florida, right? Like, who doesn't want to go to the beach? Who doesn't want to go play on the golf course? Who doesn't want to go and enjoy all of the resorts and, amusement parks and all of the wonderful things that we have to offer here in the state?
Right.
But when they are moving in, I think it's interesting because Tampa itself, it says, had a 20% drop in the number of people who normally move here. Now, that kind of hurts because remember in our previous conversations, we were talking about how many investors and builders and community development companies have put their money, they bet on Tampa big. They said, Tampa's a great place. We're going to build all of these communities, all this housing. Ton of people. We have all the space in the world. We have all of these people investing to have affordable housing, luxury housing, everything that you can name. But the people aren't really coming like they used to, Candy. They're not coming in droves like they were, And so I do wonder what this will bring. I think there's been some interesting conversations around the state. Like, I don't know if you've heard that the governor is talking about property taxes and when do we get to an end? I heard him say that may be on one of the bills. So that's an interesting conversation. I think that it's hard to keep people out of Florida for a long time. But at the moment, they feel like it's a bit unaffordable. It's a bit unaffordable. You and I both have been here long enough to remember how literally you could get a house for very little money at one point here in Florida. And we talked about house flipping, right? How easy people were flipping houses here because the homes that they were buying were so affordable. There was so much meat on the bone for people to make money once they got their property and flip it to another investor. We don't see quite as much as that anymore. We don't see that quite as much anymore. We see much more people being concerned after the 2 storms we had last year, right? Lots of costs with regards to cleanup, lots of roof damage and, beach damage, things like that. But I think in the long run, Florida will do well. Maybe this year, maybe next year, you're going to see more people leaving. And as we do, I would encourage any buyers, if you're into buying real estate, whether that be as a homeowner or as an investor, now's your time. You better take advantage of it while the general rule in investing in pretty much anything is you want to buy low and sell high, right? You want to buy it when the price is low, sell it when the price is high, and you get the difference. Right now, the prices are very low. They're dropping by leaps and bounds, and people are anxious to sell. They're feeling like, now's the time to get this. Now, if you're not an investor, if you're not concerned about the money and the interest rates and what's my return on investment, all of the fancy terms, you just want a nice place to live. now's a great time to choose Florida, right? Now is a great time to get in the game. You can get a house at a reasonable cost and probably better than reasonable because there's so many on the market. The sellers have to be extra competitive. They have to give more incentives. They have to be, willing to drop the price a bit more because they're not only competing against other homeowners who are selling, they're competing against those builders who have invested in Florida and Tampa and decided that, they need to make their money back too. So they're offering pretty amazing incentives as well. I wouldn't go out there and try to, get it for yourself. I would definitely say, someone said, good morning, it's a buyer's market. Yes, I agree. Now is the time for buyers, but buyers have to be emboldened to take. I guess I don't know if they feel like it hasn't been their turn for so long that they feel like, is it really our turn? Is it really time for us to go out there? But I'm telling you, like, if you have not started some investigation, I would absolutely have a conversation with your credit union, your bank, a mortgage broker of some form, and find out what are you qualified for and see just how much of you can get out here. You can probably get yourself a very nice property for what will be reasonable to your budget at this time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Are you
Yeah.
seeing any homes out there under 300, Kyle?
There are, especially if your budget is 300 or less, if you're in that $200,000 range, 200 to 299. One of the best cities to buy in my opinion, is Lakeland. I know that's a little outside of the traditional Tampa Bay area, but Lakeland kind of sits between Tampa and Orlando. It's a middle space. And there are quite a number of very nice properties in the 200s in Lakeland. Plant City, closer to our neck of the woods. And even still here in areas like in Hillsborough County, like Ruskin and Wimauma, there's still some properties that are below 200,000. And of course, I always tell people, if you're in the lower 200s, don't be afraid to start off with, instead of a single family home, you can always get into a townhouse. Start off with a townhouse. Live there for about 2 years and then decide whether you're going to keep it and rent it to someone else and make an income for yourself. Or if you're not in that position, you sell it and take the proceeds and move on to the next house. One thing is, I'm glad, you just sparked a thought for me. In our community, Candy, one of the number one things I hear folks do is that's different from other communities. Because, of course, I serve all communities, Asian, Caucasian, European. I mean, I don't care where you're from. If you want to buy a house, I'm here to talk to you, right? And it's interesting that other communities, they buy houses and they will move in, live there, invest, and go and buy another one. Black folks, we buy a house and we feel like we done got that. I made it. I got one. I got it, and I'm here forever. Instead of moving through the process with it. You don't have to live in that house forever. That ain't your forever home. That ain't the forever and ever where you're going to be. Even though you're getting a 30-year mortgage, right? That's just to ensure that you have a payment that's low that you can manage from month to month without losing the house, right? So they stretch it out over a long period of time. But almost no one is expecting you to be there for 30 years. Yet a lot of folks will stay in their house for 30, 40, 50, pass it on to generations when they could have sold it and moved up. So I do think that I like having that conversation, that don't be afraid to get a second home or invest or sell your first one. Start off with a smaller property and invest as your family grows. And don't be afraid to go down in size either, right? You got this big old house, all this land to take care of. Your body's, moving a little slower as you get older. That's fine. That doesn't mean you got to stay there forever. There's some nice place you can sell this and take some of the proceeds and go to something that's more suitable for where you are in this stage of life. So, yeah, I'd like to encourage more people to do that. Don't just feel like, oh, I got one. I made it. I got it. And that's it forever. You can do more than that.
Yes. And also, the last thing you said is, once we become older and we have big homes, downsizing is definitely okay because trying to
Definitely.
maintain big property, big houses when the children
Yes.
was young, and you may have thought, once they leave, you was going to do certain things, but a lot of times it does not happen. But downsizing is more and more popular these days.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because I have some folks who I know of, they build container homes. They build small, big, small, custom builds are still a thing. You can still have that done. But there is I would love to even talk to people who are thinking about maybe they've reached an age of maturity that they don't want a house at all. They don't want a 55 plus community. They're really just ready to transition to maybe senior living, like a senior living facility or a home for people of a certain age, right? And a lot of times you can sell off a property to cover the costs associated with doing that. Sell your old home, take your money, move into a senior center or a senior home. Um, I think that's definitely a popular option currently. And you have more and more people who are thinking in terms of tiny houses these days anyway, because they just don't feel like they need the cost of the gas, the electric, the water, the print, how much land you have to take care of, how much you need to pay in taxes. Some people are more comfortable with less. And so I tell people, it doesn't really matter for me if you are looking for a very big house or a very small house or something in between. I can certainly help. And it's funny, I also heard a lady this past 2 weeks, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where we were talking about it wasn't so much that she felt like the house was too big. She just didn't like walking up and down the stairs anymore. She didn't like walking up and down the stairs. And if that's the issue, sometimes that's enough. Sometimes you feel like, I'm never upstairs. I'm never utilizing that part of the house. Rather than have a 2-story home, I would just like a ranch style home, something that is 1 story now, So it can make it easier on your knees, on your back, on your body if you got some challenges, So definitely want to make it most comfortable for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what? I want to end with this one here, Kyle, because we know that we have one of the largest, if not the largest, MacDill Air Force Base in the Tampa Bay area, and a lot of active duty military veterans. Is Tampa a good place for active duty military or for their families to buy a home in the area?
Definitely one of the best places in the country for military of all kinds. If you're a veteran or active duty, Tampa's got to be one of the best cities in the country for military families. Lots of military friendly communities, not just over near the Air Force Base. MacDill Air Force Base is here, which of course heavily, surrounded by military families in that immediate area, but also just throughout Tampa Bay, as you go further into the suburbs, we constantly have employers here who are very military friendly, right? And who are actively engaged with military. We have Raytheon, we have, Boeing, we have all of these other big name companies that work with the military.
Mm-hmm.
And then, not only is it a great place for families, but you have other stuff that just amenities. Like I remember there are all sorts of parks and recreational things for your children to do. Sports activities, of course, are huge in Florida. And I don't think I know of any banks certainly not in the Tampa Bay area that don't help with VA benefits, right? So if you're going to be using your VA benefits to purchase a home, definitely a plus. I do think that if you're going to be working at MacDill, you may want to live a little closer to the Air Force Base because we still do have people, like you said, some people are moving here, right? There are maybe not as much as before, but we have some folks that still want to be in Florida. And The traffic can get a little heavy during our rush hour, right? But there is so much construction going on that will be alleviated over time because they keep expanding the roads and making more space. They're making that what is that? Um, the Leroy Selman Expressway. They
Yeah.
expanded, the Leroy Selman so that there's an upper, the lower, there's more room for more people to get around quickly throughout the city. And so I think that it really is a beautiful place to live, especially for active duty. If you can get stationed here, or if that works out, that your commanding officer has hooked you up. You are in a good space because Florida's this Tampa Bay area is fantastic. If you're active duty,
Yes.
and if you need to be deployed or things like that, there's so many things for families here, right? So even if you leave your family, you deploy out and they're here to do their thing. There's so many support systems for, our military wives, the children. And if you've ever been to MacDill's a small city unto itself. This is like another small Tampa. It's really beautiful there, so.
Yes, absolutely beautiful, MacDill. Also, the surrounding areas, no matter where you are in the vicinity of the Air Force Base, it is, it has everything that you need. If you're looking for
Nice.
schools, if you're looking for the grocery stores, parks, no matter
Everything.
which direction
Beaches are close
you go,
by. Absolutely. Everything.
everything is correct. Everything is right there. The cards and the causeway, you got the Gandy, the interstate, like you were saying, the Leroy Selman, everything goes towards that area. And they're close to Channelside, they're close to downtown Tampa. So I think that that was some great information, because we know that our active duty military and our veterans are lots. I see them all the time in the community. They're out and about, definitely down Gandy area, down south. You see a lot of them. And I know that they're always looking for a place. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. No, I'm perfect. That was perfectly stated. And I think that, I want to just give Tampa a lot of credit. Tampa has grown and improved, and it's still improving, still growing. And it's nice. I think that if you have a place that you are living, because I often lose sight of the rest of the country. I don't watch the news that much, Candy, and I have to make note to myself sometimes. It's felt like summer to me for the last 2 months. It's been fantastic here. Well, meanwhile, there are people in other parts of the country. It's freezing. It may snow for someone today, in other parts of the world. Here we are in April. And so if you are a warm weather lover, you'll love it here. If you are a person who just wants just a lot of options, night options, day options, clean fun options, a little bit of risque fun options. You got everything in the Tampa Bay area, literally. And so it really is a beautiful place. But most importantly, I would love to be the one to help people who are thinking about whether they're relocating in or out. Right? Let me say it like that. If you're relocating in, I'm definitely somebody who knows and loves Tampa. I'm going to show you where all the best of things are. And a lot of times, I've even had people in Tampa ask me, they'll see some of my marketing and they'll be like, that's in Tampa? I'm like, yeah, Tampa Bay got some neighborhoods. There are some places where you'll be like really surprised how beautiful it is and how much opportunity is there. But I'm also helpful for people who are ready to go. Some people, they got plans elsewhere. And if you're looking to sell your home, or it's time for you to make a change in your life, I'd be happy to help people to sell quickly and profitably. So I was in a class last week, and thank you for allowing me to miss one of our dates for this class. But I've been working on the commercial real estate side of my business. And it's amazing. I will tell you, people are not investing the sorts of monies that they are investing into this area without they know something. They do a lot of research before they put up 10, 20, 50 million dollars into a project, right? And so they've invested heavily into this city. I'm telling you in advance, there are some things coming to the Tampa Bay area that are going to make it even better, even more nice, even more beautiful. And if you have the resources to buy during what I'm calling this buyer's market, it's your turn. Do it now. Don't wait until the rest of the herd jumps on the bandwagon. Don't wait until you see some dynamic thing. Oh, the price has dropped, and now it's a flood of everyone. I'm telling you, you can get in this game now. And if you do, I would love to be one of the ones to assist you with that process. I don't know if folks be a little bit afraid, Candy, but I'm here really. I've realized my job is often to hold your hand through the process, right? To make sure you have someone when you're not sure, how does this go? I'm here for the phone call. I'm here to look over the paperwork. I'm here to make sure that things go smoothly in this process. So I hope they will heed your advice and mine to give me a call. I would love to earn their business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can give Kyle a call at 813-444-2691. And Kyle, you know, we have the Black Business Bus Tour coming.
Yes, it is. The 19th, only a few days away now.
Yes. We have the Black Business Bus Tour coming April 19th, just around the corner. We are counting down. If you would like to reserve your seats, also for the Black Business Bus Tour, you can Cash App us. Cash App Black Business Bus Tour. We use Zelle, Venmo, all of the ways that you can send money. You can also give me a call if you need to at 813-394-6363, 813-394-6363. The businesses are getting excited about the Black Business Bus Tour, and we want to make sure that in our city, an economic boost for our businesses. And April 19th is the day, and I can't say it enough, I'm always excited about it. We're going to be departing from 11213. The address is right there as well, North Nebraska Avenue, and it is the home office of Hands of Hope Sickle Cell Awareness. And I also want to give a big shout out to those that are making this Black Business Bus Tour happen. Cons Law, Vertical Renewal, Grow My Giving, Dedicated Senior Medical Center, Blue Sky Insurance Solution, The Unique Umbrella Effect, NAACP, Hands of Hope Sickle Cell Awareness again, our Hillsborough County Black Chamber of Commerce, Miat Sankofa, and the Connection Power to Wealth, FAP 5508. And we want to say that we will have a new design for our t-shirts. So everybody get ready for the new design of our t-shirts. I'm excited about it. I designed all of our t-shirts for the Black Business Bus Tour, but this one here is going to be near and dear to my heart. And also next year, where we will be celebrating 20 years of the Black Business Bus Tour. So we are excited about that as well, Kyle Jackson.
That is so good. The part that made me smile big was so many sponsors now. And now I'm only like this because I've seen it grow from it was nothing. It was a seed. And look at you now, Candy, 20 years later. And there's all these sponsors, all these people. You got commercials for it. It's so amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. Congratulations. That is so good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You were way there with everybody else at the beginning when we started the Black Business Bus.
Well, I'll be here again this year. I'm gonna be there because I'm looking forward to seeing. I just love the energy that you folks bring. Y'all be excited about the bus, be competing. The bus number 3, So I watched some of the commercials. I think that's so wonderful. People be excited and happy, holding up their bags of the things that they've purchased. And like you said, it really is economically empowering to our community, to our city. It's fantastic. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Again, thank you everyone for joining us this morning, Tea and Conversation Live. If you would like a realtor to walk you through every step of the way, that's going to be there right with you, give Kyle Jackson a call. His number is 813-444-2691. And that's going to do it for Tea and Conversation Live here this Wednesday morning. Thank you so much for joining us, and go on out there and have a good day. Thank you so much.
Have a great day, Candy. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.